Hello everyone, Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to another day of learning. Welcome to Institute of Global Professional Free International webinar. Thank you all for joining with us in this marvelous session. And I hope you stay with us till the program ends. Time to time, you like our Facebook page and also Facebook group and subscribe our YouTube channel for upcoming information. Ladies and gentlemen, I am proud to be associated with IGP as a global member, and I feel honored to host this webinar. And it's my delight to welcome you all to our Institution of Global Professional Free International webinar. Once again, I am Kamrul, coordinator of IGP from Bangladesh. Dear participants, before we have completed our 898 webinar successfully, now I'll be presenting webinar number 899, and today our topic is environmental conservation and sustainability. Before starting our today's program, I request everyone to share this webinar in your newsfeed and social media. And don't forget to mention your friends in the comment box because your attachment encourages us to do better and best services to our lovely audience. Our mission is to empower our youth. So stay with us by your support. Dear participants, today we have a brilliant speaker from Philippines. Today our speaker name is Mark Gabriel Organ Aguila. He is associate professor at Emilio Aguinaldo College. He is a associate educator for East Countries and Worldwide Journal of Research, registered writer and author. He is also editor, educational technologist, and publishing, a specialist of the National Book Development Board from Philippines. Let's welcome our speaker to the screen. Hello, sir.
A wonderful day to you, Sir Kamrul.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Sir, you can start your presentation now.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It's a privilege once again. Thank you. Okay, so a wonderful day and evening to all people around the world who are tuned in today, today's international webinar. I am Mark Gabriel Wagan Aguilar. I'm from the Philippines, and I am very happy to spend time with all of you again. Before we begin, I would like to take this opportunity to send a message to Ukraine, particularly to the people. So, if there are people from Ukraine here, this is for you. I personally is praying for you. It is very unfortunate that you are experiencing all of this. I do hope that your land finds peace and order soon. Always take care of yourselves, your family, your community, and just continue praying to Him. From the bottom of my heart all the way to Ukraine, I wish you great future ahead. From your friend in the Philippines. Okay, so going back, my dear listeners. So, as you all know, especially those who have been active in attending the day to day webinars of IGP, this is already my second time to speak before you. So, again, thank you very much, Institute of Global Professionals, for giving me this very unique opportunity and for providing a platform where knowledge and ideas could be shared not just for personal gains, but for community development as well. So, if you can all recall, my dear listeners, the last time I was here, I have discussed about research writing and publication. But this time, um, the focus of my presentation is the environment, an element in this world that seems to have been ignored over the past decades, as the world geared towards um, as the world geared its attention towards modernization and industrialization. We were very busy building bridges, building roads, thinking about technological developments, right? In fact, even us humans, when environment or nature is mentioned, we tend to have an impression that it is boring. It's not that urgent compared with other issues, and it is something that is not worth our time and money, right? So, for example, just imagine this: when you go to malls and you pay attention to magazine racks, you could notice that showbiz, entertainment, and other magazines alike are more purchased than those that discuss about nature. So, this is a very sad truth that we have now. And I hope that after this session, we would all come to our senses and realize that this is an urgent matter. Therefore, something that we as a community must focus on. So, in behalf of IGP, I would like to welcome all of you to this webinar entitled Environmental Conservation and Sustainability in response to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, particularly goals number 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. So for those who are not familiar with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, you can actually search the internet to to uh, to find information about it. This is a mandate, or should I say, an advocacy of the United Nations to ensure a sustainable future, not just for them, but for everybody. Okay? So let us begin with the term environmental conservation and sustainability. Environmental conservation and sustainability is the term that has been utilized by many over the years. However, as someone who has put his attention to it, I've always considered it as an environmental emergencies response rather than the common environmental conservation and sustainability term, primarily due to its urgency. Because when we say emergency, it means it's urgent, right? But how come I consider it as urgent? Maybe you're wondering, why do I think that it is something that we could consider urgent? So you will be learning that today. So I have here photos that could provide us an idea on the various environmental challenges that we currently face. We have a photo where we could see that there's a lot of trash in a body of water. So let us try to analyze what this photo represents. The photo that I'm talking about is the first one. It's on your left side of of the screen. So waterways, lakes, seas, oceans, rivers, and other water formation must be clear. It must be clean, of course, because there is life there. There are spend their life there. So imagine living in a house that is dirty and unpleasant, right? So it must be clean. It must be clear so that these living things could survive. So this photo that we are seeing right now is indeed a clear representation of water pollution. However, water pollution for many of us is just having dirty water. But believe you me, it has a number of repercussions. We have the destruction of biodiversity, contamination of what we consume as food, the lack of potable water, and infant mortality. Okay, so that's the first photo. Meanwhile, the photo in the middle is showing a space or a land where there are a lot of cut trees. This is actually taken on a mountain here in the Philippines. So some of you might think that this was caused by a typhoon. However, it wasn't. It is actually a result of legal and illegal logging, which we could categorize as deforestation. Unfortunately, in the current time, there is no way that we could stop this simply because we really need to do this. Because we need these resources for our basic needs, such as clothing, housing, the furnitures that we have in our homes, etc. Nevertheless, we must recognize the need to replace those trees that we cut down and avoid turning these forests into commercial and residential spaces. Because these natural resources have a vital role in making a balance in society. Some of you doesn't know it, but yeah, it really plays a vital role in making a balance in society. Because if there will be absence of responsible deforestation, the risk of loss of habitat, release of greenhouse gases, unregulated water cycle, and soil erosion and flooding will be very high, which could affect Earth's dynamics and eventually our lives. So moving on, we have the third photo. It's the one that has a lot of cars, as you can see. So this shows a lot of vehicles on the main highway in the Philippines. This is actually in EDSA. So if you've been in the Philippines, EDSA is one of the I could say one of the longest road or street in our national capital region. Okay, or we could consider it as the national as the capital region in the Philippines. So if you're thinking about air pollution, then you are correct. As we all know, Air pollution is another environmental situation that we face and we suffer from each passing day in our lives. Especially if you are always on the road traveling from one place to another, you can actually notice air pollution when, because especially if you are wearing a white T-shirt or a white clothing, when you leave your house in the morning, it's color white, but when you arrive home in the evening, it's not white anymore. It's already dirty. It's nearly cream, or sometimes it's brown, at the worst case scenario. So that is a proof that the air outside is really dirty. However, what we fail to realize is that we actually have control over it. This is what we fail to realize. We fail to realize that we actually have control over this situation, because this is actually a clear representation that what we do to our environment goes back to us. We keep on complaining about the difficulty of breathing outside, but it is actually our fault. So this is alarming because, aside from um, having your clothes dirty, seeing an unclear sky, this actually has long-term effects, particularly to our health. It could lead to heart problems, lung cancer, and other respiratory diseases such as pneumonia and asthma, which could endanger one's life. And then, apart from air pollution, this photo is also a representation of climate change, particularly global warming, which has effects that we never knew of, just because maybe we have not seen it yet. However, just to give you an idea on what's going on, allow me to show you these photos that I have retrieved from a documentary that I have watched a couple of months ago. So these are walruses, my dear listeners, and as we all know, walruses, they live on ice of the North Pole. But these walruses on the photo that we are seeing today, they are not on ice. Rather, are on a rocky island. So what made them go there? Provided that they do not have the body build, they do not have the body that could make it easy for them to move on these terrains. So I mean, are they stupid? Why are they in a rocky mountain, in a rocky island, instead of being on ice? So of course not. They are not stupid. They may not be the smartest animals out there, but they are not stupid because they can hunt. They take care of their youngs, and research suggests that they have a long-term memory. So again, back to the question: if that's the case, why are these animals there? Which is clearly not a friendly place for them. Okay, so you want to know the truth. You want to know the story behind this. It is actually because there are times of the year when it gets too hot than before, resulting in significant melting of ice in the Arctic region, which forces these animals to swim for long period of hours so they could find a place where they could stay. What makes this sad is what happens next. So being in a place that you are not used to, this is actually common sense, my dear listeners. Being in a place that you are not used to, especially if you are an animal that does not have a body built for such a place, could lead to problems, right? These walruses, when it is too crowded at the beach of such island, they look for another space, which forces them to climb up to rocky slopes. right now. And as you all know, climbing up is easier than going down, especially if, again, you do not have the body build to do it effectively, as well as the good eyesight to see things clearly. And because of that, walruses fall off these cliffs and die. They have poor eyesight. They do not have the body that could help them climb up and go down easily. So the result is deadly. They fall off these cliffs that are a couple of meters high, which results to their death. That is the problem. I mean, we are not just putting their lives in danger, but we are also allowing others to suffer from what we are doing from afar. These animals are victims, and they cannot do anything about it because clearly they just respond to what nature has to offer them. And it is just so sad, especially for me, because I am actually an environmental advocate. So it's so sad for me to learn about these events. So moving on, so we are in the city. We live away from from these places. That's the reason why we cannot see what is really happening. So we are far away from these circumstances. So if you are thinking that you will not do anything about this because it doesn't affect you, well, for now that may be true, but sooner or later, believe me or not, we would also suffer from these situations, such as but not limited to the continuous rising of sea levels, increase frequency of typhoons, and the creation of stronger ones that could significantly make our experience in this planet worse. Because according to the studies that I've read many times over, if the air and the water in our oceans continuously gets warm, it can actually lead to more frequent and intense coastal storms like hurricanes and typhoons. So basically, the reason why there are stronger typhoons now compared compared to the early 1900s is because of climate change, because of global warming, which is caused by human activities. So there is really a need to maintain a balance in our planet's temperature to avoid all of this. So moving on, I have here some studies that have covered the research area of environmental management. So one of which is actually mine, which later on I will be telling about. And for sure, um, you will be surprised by what we have found out. So let us first talk about the study of Hale et al. In 2013, the one with the title "Environmental Attitudes and Behaviors of College Students," a case study conducted at a Chilean university. So in this study, they have determined that engineering students of a university in Chile have positive environmental attitude as they express care for nature and they know exactly the causes of its destruction. However, this is not reflecting on their action, particularly on the frequency of conducting environmental behaviors such as responsible consumption and participation in activities or events that promotes conservation. Next is the study conducted by Abun and Racoma in 2017. So these are educators from the Philippines. The title of their study is Environmental Attitude and Environmental Behavior of Catholic Colleges Employees in Ilocos Sur, Philippines. So this was conducted 5 years ago. So in this study, they have found out that employees of Catholic schools in Ilocos Sur, Philippines, believe that nature only has a value because it serves humans their needs to survive. It could be interpreted that they believe that if nature does not serve any purpose to humans, then it has no value. Also, they are undecided whether humans have dominance over nature. And these employees also have lack of awareness towards how to treat nature and make use of it. Additionally, they also have a lack of knowledge towards environmental issues and the danger it might cause to them in the future, which leads to an undecided level of personal conservation intention and likelihood of their actions. Okay, so I hope that you're able to follow what I'm saying. I hope that I'm coming clear and that you are understanding every word that I am stating here. So, what I am saying are all results of these studies that are flashed on your screen right now. So, lastly, um, I also did a similar study 2 years ago, or roughly a year ago. So the title of my study was Attitude versus Practices of the Local Community of Los Banos, Laguna, Philippines toward Ecotourism. So ecotourism is a term in the tourism industry that refers to nature-based attractions. So basically, it's still under the umbrella of natural resources or environmental conservation and sustainability. Okay, so I have discovered that these people are fully aware about the message of environmental conservation, and they see land pollution, water pollution, air pollution, wildlife endangerment, and marine life endangerment as serious problems. So for the people of Los Baños, Laguna, these three types of pollution and the animal endangerment are actually serious problems which affects environmental sustainability. However, this attitude is inconsistent with their practices because they continuously do things or engage with activities that cause these situations, and they continuously refrain from doing things that help in minimizing this condition. So it's these three studies are clear representations that there is really inconsistencies with the knowledge, the attitude of people towards environmental friendly practices and their actions. They will say that they understand that we need to conserve the environment. They will say that they know what environmental conservation means, but when you ask them, when you observe them about what they do every day, they're not actually complying with environmental friendly practices. So it's like, you are doing things that are inconsistent with what you say and what you think. So those are the results of those studies that um, I have found in international journals. So in reference to these studies and many more, we could easily conclude that humans really do have a long way to go to fully understand and recognize the significance of environmental conservation and sustainability. Because basically, if you have the right mindset, if you have the right attitude, if you know what to do, but you are not doing it, it only means that you really do not understand the situation. It really only means that you really do not embrace the notion that these are the things that must be done for the environment, for our community. Because having that mindset, having that positive knowledge and attitude will never be enough if you cannot do it, if you cannot actually practice what you are thinking, right? If it is not materializing, okay? So we could also say that indeed these situations are urgent because of what I have mentioned as repercussions or consequences. And we humans must take this as a priority. We must put our heads to it. We must immediately do something that could make a difference, a positive difference in our environment. So, we, especially the youth, if there are students listening today, if there are um, those younger or those people that who belongs in the younger generation of today, the Generation Z, as well as the millennials, please listen carefully. You must realize that we are still looking forward to living in this world in the next 50, 70, 80, or even 90 years or more, right? So we are still, having that thought that we will stay in this earth for the next 50, 70, or even more than 90 years. But the question is, are we sure that earth would be the same in the next decades? That's the question. With what we are currently witnessing, how sure are we that Earth in the coming years would be as abundant as today? You analyze it. There are consequences to what we are doing. What we do today is the cause of the things that we will experience in the future. And that applies to nature and to the conservation of of the environment as well, in our communities, in our society. So it is either you wake up and come to your senses now, or you can sit down there, continue what you've been doing that deteriorates nature, and watch it get destroyed and wait for yourself to suffer from its consequences. So you choose, you decide. So as I end my talk today, let me just leave you with a reminder. My friends, we are all human beings. I hope that you understand what I'm saying. There is only one Earth. Let us stop acting as if there is another one. I know that there have been a number of explorations in other planets to know whether it is habitable or not. But if you're going to ask me, there is no need to find another planet. We must instead focus on taking care of what we have, which is Earth. I mean, we have everything here, and we do not have to look for another place to live in. Because the only reason why we are looking for another one is because ours is being destroyed. But who is destroying it? We already know that it is us humans, right? So why look for another if we can just stop destroying what we have? So I will just leave it here. It is now up to you to act and establish that realization in your minds. So I believe that there are a lot more that we need to talk about in regards to environmental emergencies such as wildlife endangerment that is caused by the killings of animals for their skins and other body parts for the use of humans. But I guess we can do it some other time as we only have, a limited time for this session. So that will be all for this session. Once again, thank you very much Institute of Global Professionals. To all the listeners from different parts of the world, I appreciate this opportunity to share this very important information to everyone. Have a great day.
Thank you, sir Mark, for your wonderful and marvelous presentation. Thank you so much. I hope our participants learn a lot from you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much as well, Sir Kamrul.
So now we are going to our question and answer session. After a short video clip, we come back again. Okay, sir? Dear participants, today we have no quiz competition, so we run our question and answer session only. After a short video clip, we come back again with our speaker. Welcome back, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Dear participants, this is our question and answer session time. You can send your question in our comment box. If you have any question related to this topic, you can ask the question in the comment box. Our speaker are ready to answer the question. Okay, sir, our first question is what causes global warming? And the second one is what does global warming have to do with severe weather?
Okay, thank you very much for that question, Sir Flomi Salviejo. I could see that Sir Flomi is a very, very active member of IGP.
Yes,
So,
sir.
and yeah,
Always he attend all the session.
right, right. Very good. So, anyway, so what causes global warming? Well, there are a lot of causes of a global warming. In fact, global warming is just one aspect of climate change. Okay. So, one of the one of the most common um, contributors of global warming is the burning of fossil fuels that we do for our vehicles that are powered by gasolines. Because in order to produce gas for the engines of our vehicles, we need to burn fossil fuels. And when we burn fossil fuels, some of the gases is being released up to the air, which causes the thinning of ozone layer. And ozone layers is the ozone layer that we have in at the atmosphere is the one that blocks uh, the ultraviolet rays from the sun, or the heat coming from the sun. So if there is continuous thinning of it, there will be more heat that will be absorbed by our planet, which will cause global warming. So that's the cause. That's one of the causes. That's one of the many causes of global warming, sir. Now, the next question is, what does global warming have to do with severe weather? So, sir, based on the studies that I've read for so many years, if there is a warmer temperature, warmer air in our country, in our earth, and if the waters in the ocean is warmer, it really creates, or it allows the creation of stronger uh, weather conditions. So it's environmental science, sir. We need to have another session to clearly explain how it happens, but that is based on researches that I've read, that warming of air and water in our oceans really leads to the creation of stronger and more frequent typhoons.
Thank you, sir. Our next question is, what are the most prominent current environmental threats?
All right, thank you very much for this question. Well, I have mentioned earlier some of the current environmental threats. That's why I actually said that for me it's an environmental emergency rather than a threat, because it's urgent. So we have pollution. Pollution, we can see it every day. When you go outside, there is air pollution. If you're having difficulty in breathing, you could see bodies of waters that 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 has a lot of garbages. So that's one of the simplest proof that there is water pollution around us. So this is the simplest or the most common things that we could see every day, pollution. But aside from that, like what I've mentioned earlier, the continuous rising of sea levels. I don't know if you are familiar with this country. It's called Kiribati. There is a country near Australia called Kiribati, and they're actually worrying because they have seen a significant rise of sea level, and their country now is just 2 meters, 2 meters away from the Pacific Ocean sea level. So if there is continuous rising of sea level because of global warming, then for sure sooner or later that country will be submerged underwater. So hopefully we could address these environmental threats so that we could avoid these problems in the future. Thank you for that
Thank
question.
you, sir. Anyone, please? Any other question? We are waiting for your question. So this is your second time in IGP platform, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. This is my second time.
Wow, thank you.
I'm very glad to be back.
Dear participants, we are waiting for your question.
I guess there is none anymore.
I hope there is no more question. They understand your lesson very clearly. Thank you so much, sir, for your wonderful presentation and again sharing your valuable knowledge with our participants. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Can I say some final remarks before I leave?
Obviously, sir.
Okay, thank you very much, Sir Kamrul. Okay, my message to everyone is, do not just think about yourself. Okay, I want you to listen carefully to all the listeners. Do not just think about yourself. Don't be selfish. Think about your community. Think about the society. Think about your children, their future. So go out, get involved, participate in programs that helps in sustainability. Recognize that there should be a balance between personal gains and our contributions to our community, because this is the only way that we can live in harmony and continuous progress. So when we talk about environmental threats, environmental emergencies, environmental problems, please, everybody, please put your heads to it. Do something, make a difference, get involved. Okay, so thank you very much, Circum Rule. Thank you very much, IGP. I'm very grateful to this platform because you are giving me an opportunity to share what I know and to maybe inspire some of the people who are listening. Thank you very much. I hope to
Thank
see
you,
you
sir,
again.
for your important tips to our participants. Thank you so much, sir. Dear participants, today our program name is Environmental Conservation and Sustainability, and today our webinar code is, and today our webinar and certificate code is IGP0987. The code is IGP0987. Without code, no one is eligible for certificate. With code, you can claim your certificate anytime from our website. Our website address is eduigt.com. To download your e-certificate, first of all, you have to go to our website, and after that, you have to enroll the program and enter the code. And the code is IGP0987. And after that, you can download your e-certificate. After downloading your e-certificate, don't forget to celebrate with IGP checking. Thank you everyone for your active participation in this session. We hope we'll meet together in our next session. Thank you everyone. Stay happy and stay safe.